Hello friends, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. In today's marathon session, we will continue with the Democratic Politics 2 and our NCERT series part 2. So friends, in earlier session, we have discussed about the power sharing, federalism, and we have just started now democracy and diversity. Now let's start the topic democracy and diversity. As we have discussed about power sharing, federalism, in federalism, we talked about the decentralization. Now, in this democracy and diversity, we will discuss about how democracy responds to social differences, divisions and inequalities. So, example of public expression of social divisions. Then, the general lesson about how social differences can take various forms. Then we turn to how democratic politics affects and it affected by these social diversities. If you remember, in last session itself, we have discussed about the civil rights movement in the United States and the story of Mexico Olympics. We have discussed about Black Power also. Now, let's start with the differences, similarities, divisions. So here we will discuss about origins of social differences. Now, these social differences are mostly based on accident of birth. Normally, we don't choose to belong to our community. We belong to it simply because we were born into it. Now, friends, we all experience social differences based on accident of birth in our everyday lives. So people around us are male or female, they are tall or short, have different kinds of complexions, or have different physical abilities or disabilities. But all kinds of social differences are not based on accident of birth. Some of the differences are based on our choices. For example, some people are atheists. They don't believe in God or any religion. Some people follow religion other than one in which they were born. Most of us choose what to study, which occupation to take up, and which games or cultural activities to take part in. So all these lead to formation of social groups that are based on our choices. Now, every social difference does not lead to social division. Now, social differences divide similar people from one another, but they also unite very different people. So people belonging to different social groups share differences and similarities, cutting across the boundaries of their groups. Yes, in the instance above, the Carrolls and Smith were similar in one way. Both were African American. Remember the story of Mexico Olympics? Yes. Now, the different from Norman, who was white, but they were also all similar in other ways. Now friends, they were all athletes who stood against racial discrimination. Now it is fairly common for people belonging to the same religion to feel that they do not belong to the same community because their caste or sect in very different. It is also possible for people from different religions and to have the same caste and feel close to each other. Now, here there are differences like rich and poor person. Yes, rich and poor persons from the same family often do not keep close relation with each other, or they feel they are very different. Thus, we all have more than one identity and can belong to more than one social group. We have different identities in different contexts. I hope you are understanding the concept that is differences and social division. Now, the overlapping and cross-cutting differences. Let's discuss about overlapping and cross-cutting differences. So, social division takes place when some social difference overlaps with other differences, and the difference between the blacks and whites becomes a social division in the USA because the blacks tends to poor, homeless and discriminated against. So in our country, like Dalits tend to be poor and landless, they often face discrimination and injustice. So situations of this kind produce social divisions when one kind of social difference becomes more important than other, and people start feeling that they belong to different communities group of. Now it means that group that share a common interest on one issue are likely to be in different sides on a different issue. Now, consider the cases of Northern Ireland Yes, now consider the cases of Northern Ireland and Netherlands both are predominantly Christian but divided between Catholics and Protestants. In Northern Ireland, class and religion overlap with each other. Yes, which means if you are Catholic, you are also more likely to be poor and you may have suffered a history of discrimination. In the Netherlands, class and religion tend to cut across each other. So Catholics and Protestants are about equally likely to be poor or rich. Now, this example, the result is that Catholics and Protestants have had conflict in Northern Ireland while they do not do so in the Netherlands. Now, overlapping social differences create possibilities of deep social divisions and tensions, whereas cross-cutting social differences are easier to accommodate. Now, social divisions of one kind or another exist in most countries. It does not matter whether the country is small or big. India is a vast country with many communities. So Belgium is a small country with many communities. Now, even those countries such as Germany, Sweden, that were once highly homogeneous, are undergoing rapid change with influx of people from other parts of the world. Now, migrants bring with them their own culture and tend to form a different social community. Now, in this sense, most countries of the world are multicultural. So friends, here is we have to understand homogeneous society. So a society that has similar kinds of people, especially where there are no significant ethnic differences. And migrant, anybody who shifts from one region or country to another region within a country or another country, usually for work or other economic opportunities. Now, the migrant, after that, let's discuss about politics of social divisions. Politics of social divisions. Now, how do these social divisions affect politics? So what does politics do to do these social divisions? Now, at first sight, it would appear that the combination of politics and social divisions is very dangerous and explosive. Democracy involves competition among various political parties their competition tends, yes. So basically, the democracy which involves competition among various political parties, their competition tends to divide any society. If they start competing in terms of some existing social divisions, it can make social division into political division and lead to conflict. So, which leads to conflict, violence, or even disintegration of a country. So, this has happened in many countries. Now, range of outcomes. Take the case of Northern Ireland that we referred to above. This region, yes, this region of the United Kingdom has been for many years Northern Ireland. Basically, the site of a violent and bitter ethno-political conflict. Its population is divided into two major sects of Christianity. Now, 53% are Protestants while 44% are Roman Catholics. The Catholics were represented by nationalist parties who demanded that Northern Ireland be unified with the Republic of Ireland, a predominantly Catholic country. The Protestants were represented by Unionists who wanted to remain with the United Kingdom, now which is predominantly Protestant. So hundreds of civilians, militants and security forces were killed in fight between Unionists and Nationalists and between the security forces of United Kingdom and the Nationalists. So it was only in 1998 that United Kingdom government and the Nationalists reached a peace treaty, after which latter suspended their armed struggle. So in Yugoslavia, the story did not have a happy ending. So political competition along religious ending, ethnic lines led to the disintegration of Yugoslavia into 6 independent countries. Yes. So the political competition along with religious ending ethnic lines led to the disintegration of Yugoslavia into 6 independent countries. Now, such examples lead some people to conclude that politics and social divisions must not be allowed to mix. They think that it would be best if there are no social divisions in any country. For example, if social division do exist in a country, they must never be expressed in politics. At the same time, every expression of social divisions in politics does not lead to such disasters. Now, we have already seen that social divisions of one kind or another exist in most countries of the world. So, wherever they exist, these divisions are reflected in politics. In a democracy, it is only natural that political parties would talk about these divisions, make different promises to different communities, look after due representation of various communities, and make policies to redress the grievances of the disadvantaged communities. Now, social divisions affect voting in most countries. People from one community tend to prefer some party more than others. Now, in many countries, there are parties that focus only on one community, and yet all this does not lead disintegration of the country. Now, there are 3 determinants Three factors are crucial in deciding the outcome of politics of social divisions. First of all, the outcome depends on how people perceive their identities. If people see their identities in singular and exclusive terms, it becomes very difficult to accommodate. Now, as long as people in Northern Ireland saw themselves as only Catholic or Protestant, their differences were difficult to reconcile. Now, it is much easier if the people see that their identities are multiple and are complementary with the national identity. A majority of Belgians now feel that they are much Belgian as they are Dutch or German speaking. So this helps them. Yes, this helps them to stay together. And this is how most people in our country see their identity. Now, they think of themselves as Indians as well as belonging to a state or language group or a social or religious community. Now, second, it depends on it depends on how political leaders raise the demands of any community. It is easier to accommodate demands that demands that are within the constitutional framework and are not at the cost of another community. So it's obvious if now the demand for only Sinhala was at the cost of the interest and identity of Tamil community in Sri Lanka. In Yugoslavia, the leaders of different ethnic communities presented their demands in such a way that these could not be accommodated within a single country. Now third, it depends on how the government reacts to demands of different groups. As we saw in the examples of Belgium and Sri Lanka, if the rulers are willing to share part and accommodate the reasonable demands of minority community, then social divisions become less threatening for the country. But if they try to suppress such demand in the name of national unity, the end result is often quite the opposite, and such attempts at forced integration often sow the seeds of disintegration. Now, does the assertion of social diversities in a country need not be seen as a source of danger in a democracy? Political expression of social divisions is very normal and can be healthy. Now, this allows various disadvantaged and marginal social groups to express their grievances and get the government to attend to this. Now, expression of various kinds of social divisions in politics often results in their cancelling one another out and thus reducing their intensity, and this leads to now. But a positive attitude towards diversity and willingness to accommodate it do not come about who feel marginalized, deprived, and discriminated have to fight against the injustice. Now, such a fight often takes the democratic path, voicing their demands in peaceful and constitutional manner and seeking a fair position through elections. Now, sometimes social differences can take the form of unacceptable level of social inequality and injustice, and the struggle against such inequalities sometimes takes the path of violence and defiance of state power. So, however, democracy is the best way to fight for recognition and also to diversity. Now, so this is about Now let's discuss about gender, caste, so friends, in earlier chapter there is also one story given, Bulgaria, Romania or India. Just whenever you will get idle time, just go through that. Now we'll start with the gender, religion and now in earlier chapter we noted that the existence of social diversity does not threaten democracy, but political expression of social differences is possible and sometimes quite desirable in a democratic system. Now, we will apply these ideas to the practice of democracy in India. We look at three kinds of social differences that can take the form of social divisions and inequalities. These are social differences based on gender, religion, and caste. In each case, we look at the nature of this division in India and how it gets expressed in politics. Now we also ask whether different expressions based on these differences are healthy or otherwise in democracy. Now, gender and politics. Now, let us start with the gender division. This is a form of hierarchical social division seen everywhere but is rarely recognized in the study of politics. The gender division tends to be understood as natural and unchangeable. Now, like public private division, so friends, boys and girls are brought up to be believe that the main responsibility of woman is housework and bringing up children. So this is reflected in a sexual division of labor. So sexual division of labor, a system in which all work inside the home is either done by the woman of the family or organized by them through the domestic helpers. So this is reflected in a sexual division of labor in most families. So women do all work inside the home, such as cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, tailoring, looking after children, etc. And men do all work outside the home. So it is not that men cannot do housework. They simply think that it is for women to attain to these things when these jobs are paid for. Men are ready to take up these works. So most tailors or cooks in hotels are men. Similarly, it is not that women do not work outside their home. In villages, women fetch water, collect fuel, and work in the fields. In urban areas, poor women work as domestic helper in middle class homes, while middle class women work in offices. In fact, the majority of women do some sort of paid work in addition to domestic labor. But their work is not valued and does not get recognition. Now, The result of this division of labor is that although women continue half of the humanity, their role in public life especially politics is minimal in most societies. So earlier only men were allowed to participate in public affairs, vote and contest for public offices. Gradually the gender issue was raised in politics. Women in different parts of the world organized and agitated for equal rights. There were agitations in different countries for the extension of voting rights to women. These agitations demanded enhancing the political and legal status of women and improving their educational and career opportunities. More radical women's movements aimed at equality in personal and family life as well. Now, these movements are called feminist movements. Friends, feminist, a woman or a man who believes in equal rights or opportunities for women and men. Now, political expression of gender division and political mobilization on this equation help to improve women's role in public life. We now find women working as scientists, doctors, engineers, lawyers, managers, college and university teachers, which were earlier not considered suitable for women. In some parts of the world, for example, in Scandinavian countries such as Sweden, Norway, Finland, the participation of women in public life is very high. Now, Now, see friends, here is the announcement for everyone. Yes, Unacademy is providing discounted prices till today midnight. Now 4 hours to go. You will get additional 10% discount on all subscriptions. Yes, dear friends, now before discussing further, it's my pleasure to welcome you all on Unacademy. India's largest learning platform. It's me, Rushikesh Inamdar, guiding UPSC aspirants from last 8 years. So friends, you can follow me on Unacademy app. Yes, you can just go to Unacademy app, find out my name and follow my profile to get free notifications or notifications of our free special classes. You can also join our Telegram group to get important updates about civil services preparation, and the link is provided in the description box. Friends, as you know, UPSC has announced final results of UPSC CSE 2020. Congratulations to all successful candidates, including Jagrati Avasti, an Unacademy learner who secured All India second rank. Friends, there are 169 plus Unacademy learners cracked UPSC CSE 2020. Now, you can also boost up your preparation with Unacademy, and here are 4 hours to go for the special discount, that is additional 10% discount on our paid subscriptions. For example, for the 1 year of Plus Combo subscription, you have to pay only 46,740 rupees, whereas for the 1 year of Iconic Combo subscription, you have to pay 63,989 rupees. Now friends, you can use code RBLive to get referral code discount. Dear friends, on Combat, so every Sunday we are conducting Combat in morning 11 am. Yes, so upcoming Sunday morning 11 am, we have Geography Combat. The link is provided in the description box, so you can use invite code RBLive to register for the Combat. There will be 50 questions you have to solve in 60 minutes. As per your ranks, you will get amazing prizes and scholarships. Now friends, you will get study material in hard copy, that is 20 books worth rupees 10,000, free with 1 year subscription and onwards. No cost EMI benefit or loan facilities also available. So link provided in the description box. You can use the code RBLive to get 10% discount. Along with this friends, Unacademy is providing paid subscriptions like Plus and Iconic. In Plus subscription, you will get live classes, structured courses, unlimited access for live and recorded classes, along with weekly tests. Now those aspirants pursuing their graduation or after their 12th examination, planning to start their preparation for civil services, a suggestion for them to go with iconic subscription. In iconic subscription, they'll get all the features of Plus course along with additional features like personal guidance, study planner, study material, experts guidelines and test analysis. Now, difference. You will get 10% discount on paid subscriptions using referral code RBI Live. So for the Plus subscription, 1 year duration you have to pay 44,550 rupees, and for the 1 year of iconic subscription you have to pay 67,050 rupees only. You will get 10% discount on optional subscription using referral code. And friends, do not forget to join free test series which will gear up your preparation for civil services. So you can unlock the test using code RBI Live. Yes, so free test series. Now friends, here we are discussing about the gender division. Now, in our country, women still lag much behind men despite some improvements since independence. So, as it's still a male dominant patriarchal society, women face disadvantage, discrimination and oppression in various ways. Now basically, the patriarchy literally ruled by father. This concept is used to refer to a system that values men more and gives them power over women. Now, the literacy rate among women is only 54% compared with 76% among men, and similarly a smaller proportion of girl students go for higher studies. When we look at school results, girls perform as well as boys, if not better in some places, but they drop out because parents prefer to spend their resources for their boys' education rather than spending equally on their sons and daughters. Now, no wonder the proportion of women among the highly paid and valued jobs is still very small. On an average, an Indian woman works 1 hour more than an average man every day. Yet much of her work is not paid and therefore often not valued. Now, the Equal Remuneration Act 1976 provides that equal wages should be paid to equal work. Now, equal wages for equal work. Now, however, in almost all areas of work, from sports and cinema to factories and fields, women are paid less than men, even when both do exactly the same work. Now, in many parts of India, parents prefer to have sons and find ways to have the girl child aborted before she is born. So, such sex relative abortions lead to a decline in child sex ratio, number of children per 1,000 boys in the country to merely 919. Yes, as the map shows, this ratio has fallen below 850 or even 800 in some states. Excuse me. So friends, see the map of child sex ratio as per 2011 census. Now, there are reports of various kinds of harassment, exploitation, and violence against women. Urban areas have become particularly unsafe for women. They are not safe even within their own home from, yes, they are not safe even within their own home from beating, harassment, and other forms of domestic violence. Now, along with this, let's discuss about women's political representation. Now, friends, all this is well known, yet issues related to women's well-being or otherwise are not given adequate attention. This has led many feminists and women's movements to the conclusion that unless women control power, their problems will not get adequate attention. One way to ensure this is to have more women as elected representatives. So in India, proportion of women in legislature has been very low. For example, percentage of elected women members in Lok Sabha has touched 14.36% of its total strength for the first time in 2019. So their share in the state assemblies is less than 5%. Less than 5%. Now, in this respect, India is among the bottom group of nations in the world. So, India is behind the averages for several developing countries of Africa and Latin America. So, in the government, cabinets are largely all male, even when a woman becomes the chief minister or the prime minister. Now see, women in national parliaments in different regions of the world. Yes, see the percentage. So, the percentage of women representation in parliament, now see, the world average is 24. Now, Nordic countries, it's 42.3. America's 29.5. Europe 26.4. Sub-Saharan Africa 23.7. Asia 19.8. Arab states 18.6. Pacific 15.6. India 11.8. So friends, now one way to solve this problem is to make it legally binding, to have a fair proportion of women in the elected bodies. Now, this is what the Panchayati Raj has done in India. Now, the one third of seats in local government bodies in panchayats and municipalities are now reserved for women. Now there are more than 10 lakh elected women representatives in rural and urban local bodies, but that proportion not that much higher in state assemblies and parliament. Now, women's organizations and activists have been demanding a similar reservation of at least one third of seats in Lok Sabha and state assemblies for women. A bill with this proposal has been pending before the parliament for more than a decade. But there is no consensus over this among all the political parties. So the bill has not been passed. Now, gender division is an example that some form of social division needs to be expressed in politics. This is also shows that disadvantaged group do benefit when social divisions become a political issue. Now, religion, communalism, and politics. Now, here we will discuss about religion, communalism, and politics. So, friends, let us now turn to a very different kind of social division. The division based on religious differences. This division is not as universal as gender, but religious diversity is fairly widespread in the world today. Many countries, including India, have in their population followers of different religions. As we noticed in case of Northern Ireland, even when most of the people belong to the same religion, there can be serious differences about the way people practice that religion. Unlike gender differences, the religious differences are often expressed in the field of politics. Now, let's consider few instances. Like Gandhiji used to say that religion can never be separated from politics. What he mean by religion was not particular religion like Hinduism or Islam, but moral values that inform all religions. He believed that politics must be guided by ethics drawn from religion. Now, human rights groups in our country have argued that most of the victims of communal rights in our country are people from religious minorities. They have demanded that the government take special steps to protect religious minorities. Now, religious differences human rights groups in our country have argued that most of the victims of communal rights in our country are people from religious minorities. They have demanded that the government take special steps to protect religious minorities. Now, women's movement has argued that family laws of all religions discriminate against women so they have demanded that government should change these laws to make them more equitable. Now, all these instances involve a relationship between religion and politics. No, but they do not seem very wrong or dangerous. So, ideals, and values drawn from different religions can and perhaps should play a role in politics. So, people should be able to express in politics their needs, interests, and demands as a member of religious community. Now, those who hold political power should sometimes be able to regulate the practice of religion so as to prevent discrimination and oppression. Yes, oppression. Now, these political acts are not wrong as long as they treat every religion equally. Now, after this, we will discuss about communalism. The problem begins when religion is seen as the basis of the nation. As we have discussed in earlier chapter, where Northern Ireland shows the dangers of such an approach to nationalism. The problem becomes more acute when religion is expressed in politics, in exclusive, yes, politics in exclusive and partisan terms. Now, when one religion and its followers are pitted against another, this happens when beliefs of one religion are presented as superior to those of other religions. Now, when the demands of one religious group are formed in opposition to another, and when state power is used to establish domination of one religious group over the rest. Now, this manner of using religion in politics is communal politics. Now, communal politics is based on the idea communal politics is based on the idea that religion is the principal basis of social community. Now, communalism involves thinking along the following lines. The followers of particular religion must belong to one community. Their fundamental interests are the fundamental interests are the same, and any difference that they may have is irrelevant or trivial for community life. Now, it also follows that people who follow different religions cannot belong to the same social community. If the followers of different religion have some commonalities, these are superficial and immaterial. So their interests are bound to be different and involve a conflict. Now, in its extreme form, communalism leads to the belief that people belonging to different religions cannot live as equal citizens within one nation. Now friends, either one of them has to dominate the rest or they have to form different nations. Now the belief is fundamentally flawed. People of one religion do not have the same interests and aspirations in every context. Now, everyone has several other roles, positions, and identities. There are many voices inside every community. All these voices have a right to be heard. Therefore, any attempt to bring all followers of one religion together in context other than religion is bound to suppress many voices within that community. Now, the communalism can take various forms in politics. Now, the most common expression of communalism is in everyday beliefs. These routinely involve religious prejudices, stereotypes of religious communities, and belief in the superiority of one's religion over other religions. Now, this is so common that we often fail to notice it even when we believe in it. Now, a communal mind often leads to a quest for political dominance of one's own religious community. For those belonging to majority community, this takes the form of majoritarian dominance, and for those belonging to the minority community. So it can take the form of a desire to form a separate political unit. Now, political mobilization on religious lines is another form of communalism. Yes, political mobilization. Yes, it is another frequent form of communalism. Now, this involves the use of sacred symbols, religious leaders, emotional appeal, and plain fear in order to bring the followers of one religion together in the political arena. In electoral politics, this often involves spatial appeal to the interest or emotions of voters of one religion in preference to others. Now, sometimes communalism takes its most ugly form of communal violence, riots, and massacre. So India and Pakistan suffered some of the worst communal riots at the time of partition. The post-independence period has also seen large-scale communal violence. Now, here we will discuss the concept of secular state. Now, Now, communalism was and continue to be one of the major challenges to democracy in our country. The makers of constitution were aware of this challenge. That is why they choose the model of secular state. This choice was reflected in several constitutional provisions that we already discussed. Now, there is no official religion for the Indian state. Unlike the status of Buddhism in Sri Lanka, that of Islam in Pakistan and the Christianity in England, our constitution does not give a special status to any religion. The constitution provides all individuals and communities freedom to profess, practice, and propagate any religion or not to follow any. Then a constitution prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion. So at the same time, the constitution allows the state to intervene in the matters of religion in order to ensure equality within religious communities. For example, it bans untouchability, now, understood in this sense, secularism is not just an ideology of some parties or persons. This idea constitutes one of the foundations of our country. So this secularism now, communalism should not be seen as a threat to some people in India. It threatens the very idea of India. That is why communalism needs to be combated. A secular constitution like ours is necessary but not sufficient to combat communalism. Then communal prejudices and propaganda need to be counted in every life. Yes, counted in everyday life, and religion based mobilization needs to be counted in the arena of politics. Now, next important topic is caste and politics. So we have seen two instances of the expression of social divisions in the arena of politics, one largely positive and the other largely negative. Now, let us turn to our final case, that of caste and politics, that has both positive and negative aspects. Caste inequalities, unlike gender and religion, caste division is special to India. All societies have some kind of social inequality. And some form of division of labor. Now, So here, caste and politics. So in caste inequalities, unlike gender and religion, caste division is special to India. All societies have some kind of social inequality and some form of division of labor. So in most societies, occupations are passed on from one generation to another. Like the caste system is an extreme form of this. Now, what makes it different from other societies is that in this system, hereditary occupational division was sanctioned by rituals. Members of the same caste group were supposed to form a social community that practiced the same or similar occupation. So, married within the caste group and did not eat with members from other caste groups. Now, caste system was based on exclusion of the discrimination against the outcast groups. They were subjected to the inhuman practice of untouchability, about which already we have discussed in earlier part. Yes, means class 9 NCERT. Now friends, that is why political leaders and social reformers like Jyotiba Phule, Gandhiji, B.R. Ambedkar and Periyar Ramaswamy advocated and worked to establish a society in which caste inequalities are absent. Yes. Now, when we are talking about social and religious diversity of India, Now, the census of India, which records the religion of each and every Indian after every 10 years. The person who fills the census form visits every household and records the religion of each member of that household exactly the way each person describes it. If someone says she has no religion, or that is, he is atheist, this is exactly how it is recorded. So thus we have reliable information on the proportion of different religious communities in the country and how it has changed over the years. Now, Now friends, the census of India counts two social groups like the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So both these broad groups include hundreds of castes or tribes whose names are listed in an official schedule. Hence friends, the prefix scheduled in their names, like scheduled caste commonly as Dalits, include those that were previously regarded as outcast in the Hindu social order and were subject to exclusion and untouchability. The scheduled tribes, often referred to as Adivasis, include those communities that led a settled life, usually in hills and forests, and did not interact much with the rest of the society. So in 2011, the scheduled castes were 16.6% and the scheduled tribes were 8.6% of the country's population. So the census does not yet count the other backward classes. Hence, there are some differences about their proportion in the country's population. So the National Sample Survey of 2004-05 estimates their population to be around 41%, and thus SC, ST and the OBC together account for about 2/3 of the country's population and about 3/4 of the Hindu population. Now friends, that's it about today's marathon session. In next marathon session, we will discuss about caste in politics, caste inequality, then politics in caste, and populist struggles and movements. So that's it for today's session. See you in the next lecture with new topic. Till the time, keep studying, keep revising. Do not forget to join our new batches, 1 year, 2 year batches, and from 18th October, batches for mains, that is answer writing program, weekend current affairs simplified batch, which will help you to boost up your current affairs part. Congratulations to all successful candidates who have cleared UPSC CSE 2020, including 169 plus Unacademy learners. So friends, now 3 hours to left for the discounted prices, where you will get additional 10% discount and referral code discount using code RBI Live. Do not forget to register yourself for Geography Combat scheduled on upcoming Sunday. We are also providing study material in hard copies. Friends, loan facility is also available, so you can register yourself or apply for the loan facilities, and do not forget to enroll yourself for free test series. So see you in the next lecture. Till the time, keep studying, keep revising. Stay home, stay safe.